Hey everyone, this is Ryder from YoGov and Skip, and I want to do a quick video to talk about both the EIDL program and the individual stimulus checks that we're all receiving. We've received some more intel from some of our users and some other sources, and the good news is that we may still be entitled to the full $10,000 EIDL advance. So I'm going to talk about that and the senators that are pushing for that and what they did over the weekend to push for this, because again, this is what a lot of us thought about originally when we applied, that we would receive the full $10,000 advance, no strings attached, and what happened was we were left with 1,000. So I'm going to get into that, but first, two quick things. First, on the individual stimulus checks, some of you may have been getting these letters in the mail now. This came to one of our users yesterday who had gotten their individual deposit on the April 15th, and this arrived by mail on April 27th. So if you were one of the millions who got direct deposit that week, around the 13th, 14th, 15th is when the Treasury Secretary said around 80 million were sent out. I know most of us are still waiting. But if you received the direct deposit, then you'll get this letter as a follow-up in the mail signed by the president about, the reason why behind this. So this is what they said they were going to do. They were going to speed things up, send you the direct deposit first, and then send out something in the mail. Okay, so look for this. There's always a chance if you get this letter and didn't see the direct deposit, it's in an account that you forgot about. So look for this in the mail. And some people too, we've heard, are getting paper checks this week as well. I'm going to talk about that in a bit too. So, but again, they are processing a lot more this week. That's directly from the Treasury Secretary. He said that yesterday. So they're coming. Now, the other thing I want to point out is on the economic injury disaster loan, we also heard from a user that some of you have noticed this, that they're calling it EIDG now on your statement. So there shouldn't be confusion as to whether this is a loan or a grant, because they've actually changed the terminology for economic injury disaster grant. We had a lot of questions from people wondering if this is something they need to pay back. It's part of the EIDL loan program. You got 1,000 or 10,000 or somewhere in between. It wasn't clear that you don't have to pay this back. So they have changed it on the statements. Economic injury disaster grant. So there's no confusion. You don't have to pay that back. And now for the good news here is that this letter to the Treasury Secretary, Steve Mnuchin, and the head of the Small Business Administration was sent by a few members of Congress, a few Democratic members, namely Senators Schumer and Pelosi. In it goes into a few different things. One, expanding access for underserved folks and Main Street businesses. It's a really good letter to read. They want access. They don't want the big companies getting all of the funding. They want a lot of us who've struggled to receive any funding. They want to have a focused effort for those folks to get funding. But here's the big thing. Okay. Award 10,000 SBA emergency EIDL grants. They still use the L word. Grants as intended. EIDL grants. Okay. Under the CARES Act, emergency EIDL grants were made in amounts of up to 10,000 within 3 days of receiving an application. However, SBA has taken much longer to disperse funds. As we know, it's taken weeks. It's about 3 to 4 weeks behind. If you applied on the first couple days, you might have received your some amount by now, but there's no guarantee. So that would have been on March 29th, 30th, April 1st. But here's where they say they're asking for, with the new $10 billion in emergency funding for emergency EIDL grants that the interim COVID-19 Act provides, the administration should remove the limitations it imposed that prevents businesses from receiving the full $10,000 grant. So that was a decision that the SBA made. That was a policy decision the SBA made. And what the lawmakers are arguing is that that was not the intent of the CARES Act. And frankly, people need the full $10,000. Businesses that have previously received reduced grants because they had fewer than 10 employees should receive the full amount. And going forward, new recipients should receive full awards as well, regardless of their size. Very interesting. So even if what this is saying is even if you're a couple people, you should be getting the full $10,000. Furthermore, to prevent the administration from once again refusing to request additional appropriations when the program is fully subscribed, SBA should notify Congress as soon as funds begin to run low, rather than cut the amount small businesses receive. So this is what they did. They said, oh, we're making a decision, too many applications, we're just going to give people less, instead of going to Congress and saying, hey, this program's so popular, let's try to allocate more funding for this. So this is huge. And, you know, again, this is written to the SBA, but it's by the people who passed the stimulus in the first place. I'm going to leave a link to this, but, you know, it goes on to saying the SBA should conduct dedicated outreach and technical assistance to ensure all small businesses are aware of and able to access EIDL loans and grants. This includes concerted efforts to serve the truly small, unbanked, and underserved businesses. So this is a great letter, and I'm going to go scroll down to see who you can see that Senators Pelosi and Schumer signed it, and a few others as well. But again, this is good news. You know, I'm going to flip to our skip dashboard here. We did see, again, we're tracking 7-day rolling averages of people who have self-reported that they have received their loans on helloskip.com, and you know, we did see an uptick yesterday. So this is what we predicted, that, you know, there was this lull because funding ran out, so they processed slower, and now they're finally starting to process. So we even expect this to continue to go up this week. So again, hope that helps. As always, thanks so much for subscribing. It means a lot to us. Please stay safe, stay well, and stay home.